the simplest advice I would give is just take your time with thinking. While I know it's the objective is always to get it out the door as soon as we can, don't underestimate the value of spending, for example, an additional week on rethinking how we want to do things, as taking more time near the beginning of the whole process can save a lot more time in the later stages of the process. So my name is Leon. I've worked here for almost 6 years now. I have experience as a QA. Started out as a QA, transitioned into a QA lead role, and then transitioned into a technical project manager role. And my role now is basically to ensure that the project goes smoothly, to organize different teams and organize the work between different parts of the project, and make sure that the team here that works with me on the project has everything they need, but also that that all of the work is getting done on time and on budget and with enough quality so that it's acceptable.
So as a technical project manager here at DECODE, I lead projects. With my technical background, I have a much more deeper understanding of the requirements and what we need to build.
Yeah, basically it was almost from the first company I worked in until today, it was always like project management or product management, working with team, with people, with client, and focusing on the delivery of the product. The technical side, I would say in this role as a project manager, it is important, actually it's very important, because of that mindset and the way of thinking and working more from, you don't have to code as a project manager, but you need to have this, let's say, engineering way of thinking, because there is always easier or better solution that we can come up with. You're not just there to, I don't know, take a lead into the meetings or open tasks or, I don't know, talk with clients. You are also there with the team to help deliver the product the best way it can be delivered. So, yeah.
So the main difference in the approach of gathering requirements, technical project manager has a more deeper understanding of the technical aspects of getting the job done. Vice versa, the non-technical project managers usually gather requirements. They may have some kind of understanding of the technical aspects of solving the problem, but usually they have to consult with the developers that are working on the task.
So while the roles are fairly similar, from my experience and from what I saw, non-technical PMs are most often more focused on the business side, on the budget, on the project vision, and communicating with stakeholders, getting their ideas across to the development team, while the technical project management, while also working on organization, since they have a more technical background, they are able to also add necessary questions to identify potential risks earlier, to identify whether the ideas and the goals that are coming from stakeholders are technically possible, and if there's something else that needs to be done.
Why would someone transition from a developer or a QA team lead to a technical PM? What's the motivation behind it?
Well, in my case, it was that I've gained enough experience as QA, and I've worked with different technologies and different processes, where I felt like improving myself as a QA has diminishing returns at this point, and that the better avenue for further development is to develop the skills that maybe weren't as necessary in a purely technical role, which are like communication skills, people skills, organizational skills. So I felt that that is the area that I'm less familiar with, and that I could gain more from working on those areas. I believe that the reason they can't be bullshitted is because you do need the technical background to be a technical project manager, and people coming from technical backgrounds will very easily spot if you're just trying to act like you have a technical background but don't. It's mostly seen on, as I mentioned, one of the roles of the technical PM is to make sure to ask the right questions. So if we get an idea, a design for a new feature or a new product, a good technical PM will know what the questions that are needed to be asked, like what are the technologies that we plan on using? Are these the right technologies? Also, one of the tasks of a technical PM is estimating the work. A good technical PM, in my opinion, will know how to gather the estimates from the technical people, from their developers, QA engineers, and assess if those estimations are correct, if there's an additional buffer that's needed for any potential risks that the team might not have identified. So that's why I feel that the role can't really be bullshitted. All of that knowledge will mostly come from a technical background and from technical expertise.
There is a big difference when you see that clients can see when you are really engaged, because you listen to them, you come with a couple of solutions, you are kind of proactive as well, not just reacting, but also proactively giving solutions or suggestions and so on. You kind of not, but yeah, you lead them through this journey, and also when they, I don't know, want to change something or give you maybe tougher feedback, you know how to handle that, and you also know how to explain, even if when you have, let's say, an issue on the project, or you do not agree with the client, maybe if this is the way we should go. So yeah, they see the expertise in you, and you're not just like doing what they are saying. You also have, and they respect that, because I would say that the clients are choosing DECODE because of its expertise. And that's why I would say that it's important for them to have the person on the other end to help them out, to see, you know, I mean, I don't want to say that the clients usually don't know what they want, but they do, but they are not sure how to get there. So that's why it is important from, I would say, technical project manager to explain to them how to do that, how we will do it, in a which way, what is the best way, and kind of like cooperate with them. And if we talk, and if we go back to the teammates, how they can take this ownership, I would say always you lead with an example. So when you are like that, most of your teammates and colleagues will do the same. I would say it's kind of natural. So yeah.
So basically here at DECODE, we try to We try to do as much as Scrum as we can possibly do, but not only just take it point blank, but just to make it work for us. And I think that's very important because not all projects are the same. Also, not all cultures are the same. So basically, what we do here in DECODE, we have a baseline of things that we do when we lead projects. One of those is have regular daily meetings, have regular business and product meetings with our client, have meetings with other team leaders. So basically, knowledge sharing plus trying to do our best to have an open communication with our clients, also to have open communication with our team members, and try to share the knowledge between stakeholders. It's very important also because then we can track more metrics that are interesting to us, how we're progressing, are we hitting our timelines, how we're standing with our budgets. So open communication plus good reporting is the basis of good outcome for our projects. I think demos are also very important. So when we're doing continuous development and deploying, it's also important to us that the client sees our progress, that he can comment it, and early on in stages where we are still developing and testing it, we can do certain tweaks to the platform system if needed. So demos, I would say, are a must-have on projects that are larger in scale, that have a lot of integrations, and that scale very quickly. Also, if there's a lot of change requests coming in, it's also good to have a planned release, demo and release, where you can show the client your progress.
Well, I'd say the magic comes mostly from experience. It's mostly based on previous work that I've done, especially on the same project, where what's interesting is that moving from QA to a technical project management position, it's sort of two different views on the same work, where as a QA, you're when it comes to releasing the app, it comes more to identifying what should stop the release and why we shouldn't release it. Whereas from the project management side, you're also interested in making sure that the project is on time. So you're assessing the issues that are found in different ways. So it's quite an interesting transition, and I think that is also part of the magic, as you said, that helped me identify risks. As coming from a QA background, everything you do is about identifying risks and about trying to find the problems early. So that helps a lot with managing the project now, where there's still that style of thinking when we get a new requirement or when a new feature is being developed, where I mostly go into the same QA mode of, oh, let me see what might not work in this, so we can flag it early and think of a solution before it happens.
It's quite interesting. As a QA, you're thinking like, okay, let's go not long,
Yeah.
because it's not perfect.
Yeah.
And as a PM, you're trying to like push forward and be on time.
Yeah, exactly.
Different persons.
Yeah, exactly. So
each other.
yeah, from a QA perspective, you want the project to be as perfect as possible. Well, as a PM, you're mostly trying to find that, yeah, this is good enough. Some of these issues aren't major, aren't critical. They won't stop users from actually using the app. So yeah, it's two very different viewpoints and very different outcomes that you want from viewing.
So it's somehow a balancing.
Yeah,
Right.
it's basically a yin and yang situation where one side of your thinking goes, no, this can't go out, this isn't perfect, this should be changed, but the other side is telling you, yeah, but we need to put in that much effort, which means that we might miss budgets or miss timelines, and what we gain is not that impactful. So it might be worth just moving that to the backlog to be tackled at a later date.
Well, yeah, I start first. I mean, if there is a person that previously worked on this project and it's available, I will do the onboarding, like a quick onboarding. What this application is about? What are we doing here? Who is the team? Do I have a team? Who is the client? And what were the biggest pain points to the point when I took over? So that would be just like to see in general what's going on with the project. And then I deep dive. First I go with the risks. So where we are, what's going on, what is the most important next thing that needs to happen on this project. Gather if there is a technical documentation and in general any documentation. I gather that, put it together, try to understand, take the application if it's accessible on the production or on staging. I will take it, just click around, see what's going on, talk with the designers, talk with the QA, and if there is a team dedicated to the project, I will talk with them just to see from their perspective what is the project about, what is the status of the project state, and and then based on all of that, I make a plan. What would be the best next steps and how we can, if the project is in a messy situation, then you try to detect 2-3 critical things and focus on that. Do that and then see.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I worked on a project where we had a non-technical PM from the client side, and I was acting as a technical PM from our side. And yeah, in my opinion, it's very useful to have both. As I mentioned, the non-technical project managers are usually more focused on the business value and the business side, where they're making sure that everything's on budget. They're making sure that the stakeholders' requirements are being met. While I can then provide my input from a more technical side to make sure that we steer it in a way that's actually plausible and not start the work that then needs to be restarted because there was an issue found that made it so that the original idea cannot be executed in a way that was wanted. So basically, the collaboration between a client's PM and me as a technical PM is mostly about not so much clashing between our different views, but collaborating and making sure that we identify and find any potential problems as early as possible. One example I can give you is that we were working on adding some new functionality to the client, where the original request was, from the developer's perspective, pretty vague, as it didn't have a lot of technical details on what we need to do, how we need to do it, and what's the desired outcome. They came to me with, yeah, this isn't good. We need to refine this. We need to have as many details as possible. There's too much left unanswered here. where the objective of the change was to be a fairly low effort change. It was a sort of a minimum viable product type of functionality. So the objective was to do what we can with as little effort as possible. So I started talking to the dev and asked him, like, what is it that you're missing? He gave me some details, like, for example, how do we do this? And I said, okay, but what would be the easiest way to do it? He gave an example, we moved on, and for several things, I just asked, like, what would be the simplest way to do it? And when we compiled the list, I talked to the client and their PM and stakeholders and asked, hey, can you take a look at this? Would this be good enough for what we wanted to do? They said, yeah, that's pretty much exactly what we wanted to do. And I relayed that back to dev, and they mentioned, like, yeah, but why couldn't we have gotten all those details? And yeah, we had a discussion, like, yeah, but that was the point of the change. It was supposed to be least amount of effort. That there was just a difference in viewpoint, whereas a technical person, as a developer, you want all of the details so you know what exactly you're expecting, when sometimes with certain types of changes, you just have to identify yourself what would be the best avenue for approaching it.
A piece of advice to your CTO or someone who's building a product from maybe scratch?
I think keep doing what you're doing. Keep hiring people that are not only quality engineers, technical people, but also are culture fit, because I think one of the things that is going for DECODE is that there's a good quality culture. It's very healthy, and it's a very when you come in the morning, you're very happy to come. There's no tension of coming here. Also, I think that is very important for having good quality outcomes on projects, is to continue the path that we're going currently, that is having good quality project discoveries, to have good UX UI design done before development, and then I think everything is going to be okay.
Would you give the same advice to any CTO?
I think basically, I think that you have to invest a lot of time and money in your people, and then they're going to be the backbone of the company and do better work. I think if people are not satisfied, if they don't like coming to the office and working for you, I think then you really are not doing good.
The simplest advice I would give is just take your time with thinking. While I know it's the objective is always to get it out the door as soon as we can, don't underestimate the value of spending, for example, an additional week on rethinking how we want to do things, as taking more time near the beginning of the whole process can save a lot more time in the later stages of the process.